Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com. I wanted to talk to you today about the true freshmen for Alabama and how they have fared in their first season in Tuscaloosa. You have to start out with Patrick Surtain, the cornerback who was a Rivals.com 5-star. He was a number 8 overall player in the country, and in 13 games this season, he's made 10 starts, which is phenomenal. 33 tackles on the season, 6 pass breakups, 1 interception. Get this, he's been targeted 41 times, 0 interceptions. He saw a lot of time after the Ole Miss game. Actually, during the Ole Miss game, when Savion Smith was having trouble with the bigger wide receivers. In stepped Surtain, and his role continued to grow when Trayvon Diggs went out with a foot injury. He's no doubt been one of Alabama's best cover corners, holding opponents to a 48.8 completion percentage rate on balls thrown his way. Patrick Surtain, very well-spoken and humble young man. I got a chance to talk with him at the SEC championship game. Said he's learned a lot from his pops, who played at the highest level. Also going to talk about Jaylen Waddle. Waddle, baby. What a season he has had at Alabama as a true freshman. He was also a 5-star. Also delivered as a 5-star, stepping onto the field at Alabama and contributing in all 13 games. He's actually made 3 season starts this year, 41 receptions, 803 yards, 7 touchdowns, 19.5 yards per catch, average 15.07 yards per punt return on 15 attempts, including a 63-yard return for a touchdown that had everybody gasping for air. It was just incredible. He's the type of player who's so electric on the football field and really had a breakout season, earning the SEC Freshman of the Year while leading all SEC freshmen and scoring with 48 points on his 8 combined touchdowns. Out of Houston, Texas, Houston's pumping out the athletes, and Jaylen Waddle is such an electrifying game changer, scored a big touchdown in the SEC championship game against Georgia. Other contributors that we have to mention this year: Ayyuu Anoma is an outside linebacker, another 5-star, stepping onto the field for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's played in 11 games this year. Season stats: 9 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 quarterback hurry. Joining Alabama as the highest rated player, the Crimson Tide's 2018 class. Anoma didn't make quite the impact we had expected, but he still saw time on the field, and he was named SEC All-Freshman Team, which is very impressive. And I think we've seen glimpses of just what he can do on film, and you should be excited because he's got a very high ceiling, and it's just a matter of time till Ayyuu Anoma really starts to make an impact for Alabama. Aly Kaho, inside linebacker. He was a Rivals 4-star, originally committed to Washington, transferred late in the game to Alabama, and he's played in all 13 games. 10 tackles this year, 1 fumble recovery. And despite joining Alabama late, Kaho has certainly made his way onto the field. He's played in a lot of special teams for Alabama, and he actually made the Player of the Week, or he got recognition for Alabama from the coaches following games against LSU and Mississippi State, 2 very vital games for Alabama this season. Stephon Wynn, a defensive lineman. He was a 4-star coming out. He's played in 3 games this season. He has 3 total tackles. Cameron Latu, 4-star, coming into Alabama. He's played in 2 games, 1 tackle, 1 quarterback hurry. I really like what I've seen with Cameron Latu when we're at Alabama's practice. He's a player who seems to have a lot of upside, just like Ayyuu Anoma, and I really like the direction that he's going under Tosh Lupoi. I think Cameron Latu is certainly going to have a big career here at Alabama. Emil Ekiyor, who's an offensive lineman. He was a 4-star. He's played in 2 games this season. Saw limited action with 9 combined snaps this year, and he's going to get his. It's just a matter of time. I mean, a lot of these guys just have to trust in the process, as Nick Saban always says. Xavier Williams is a receiver, 4-star out of Florida. He played in 1 game this season. He doesn't have any stats. Got his feet wet, just 1 game. Josh Jobe. Here's a guy who played a lot this season for Alabama. He's a 4-star, and Alabama certainly used him a lot. He's a player that you don't really hear us talk about too much, but he played in 12 games, 6 tackles, and added depth to a thin secondary. I think he's one of those guys who's only going to get better at Alabama, and I think he's good to go right now. So usually when we get towards this part of the season, Nick Saban refers to these freshmen as sophomores, really. I mean, they've played in that much action, and Josh Jobe certainly gotten onto the field a lot for Alabama. Slade Bolden, remember, he's the top player out of the state of Louisiana coming in. He hasn't played much this year, but they've tried him at defensive back, at receiver. He's an electrifying player. I'm not sure what position he's going to play moving forward for Alabama. I would assume wide receiver, but like I said, he's played on the defensive side of the football as well. Played in one game this season. Eddie Smith, who's a safety, he's a 3-star. He's played in 6 games this year. Doesn't have any stats, but he's played 6 games, and I think that shows you that Alabama is confident in his abilities, and he's been doing good things under Carl Scott as a defensive backs coach. Jerome Ford, who's a running back, he's a 3-star. He's played in 4 games this year, so likely a redshirt candidate, and any of the guys who have played in 4 games or less will redshirt. So that kind of gives you an indication. You can read the full story on BamaInsider.com. Jerome Ford, 7 carries, 37 yards. However, when you look into Jerome Ford's grades on Pro Football Focus, he grades out high. And for a 3-star, he's more like a 4-star in my opinion. I mean, he runs hard, and I'm not sure. It's going to probably be a while until Jerome Ford really gets his at Alabama, but I like what I've seen early on from Jerome Ford. Skylar DeLong, who's a punter, he's a 3-star. He's played 5 games. Things didn't really work out for Skylar DeLong, and Nick Saban this season said a lot of his issue was just mental. Maybe he just, he just wasn't ready to contribute as a freshman. Averaged 34.4 yards per punt on 16 punts. He had a lot of balls that he shanked, lost his job to a senior walk-on. But Skylar DeLong, I think Nick Saban and Alabama still have a lot of faith in him. And, he should be much improved during his sophomore season. Jalen Moody is an inside linebacker. Aly Kaho had a lot of positive things to say to him after the SEC championship game. He's played in 12 games. He was really unrated, a guy who was under the radar by Rivals.com, but he's really came in and stepped up, and he's done a great job on special teams. There was a play I remember, I believe it was on Jaylen Waddle's punt return for a touchdown where he completely decleated a defender, and it was pretty nasty. A lot of people like Jalen Moody, and I think Alabama fans should be really excited for him. Now, these are the following players that have not played this season for Alabama. Jalen Davis, remember he had a knee injury at the beginning of the season. Tommy Brown was a big offensive tackle, 6'7", 320 pounds. Michael Parker at tight end is another big 6'6" tight end. Christian Barmore. A lot of people wanted to see Christian Barmore play this year, but I, to be honest, I think he was a little bit too immature. And I'd be interested to see what his coaches said, if they agreed with that. It's not a talent thing, because Christian Barmore, if you're watching, you can see just how athletic he is. And I think Christian Barmore will make a splash during the 2019 season. For more continuing coverage on Alabama Crimson Tide football, head on over to BamaInsider.com. We got a great promo going on right now. You can get team gear. The promo code at checkout is 99cyber. Tons of recruiting coverage from Andrew Bone. Nobody does it better than Andrew Bone on the recruiting front. We got it all locked and loaded at BamaInsider.com. Reporting from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, this is Kyle Henderson. I'll catch up with you guys soon.